Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's Wednesday, October the 11th, 10 a.m. agenda meeting. I'd like to give Mr. Kirk to say the prayer, Mr. Scott to say the pledge. Please stand.
Next flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recite the Lord's Prayer. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Okay. Go to number 3, Dr. Kathy Banks, Betsy Board candidate.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you all for having me this morning. I am Dr. Kathy Banks, and I'm running for Bessie District 7. Okay. I'm Dr. Kathy Banks, and I'm running for Bessie District 7, and that includes Cameron Parish. I'm married to Joseph Banks. He and I have pastored Living Word Christian Center for approximately 20 years now. And my anniversary will be on the 15th, so I really need a great anniversary present so I can have a victory for Bessie Board District 7. However, I teach theology on a university level. And this is how I got into the Bessie Board race. I started teaching and started to see children that were falling behind. And the reason is because they did not get a foundation in their early educational levels. So I began advocating for the education system in Calcasieu Parish. And as I continued to look and see that they were falling behind, we needed to have something, a system put in for those kids that were falling through the cracks, and that's what I began to do. I went to work with the school board, and I've also worked with the Bessie Board as well. I've written curriculums that I've passed. I've also worked with my own school board, and we're working on getting a school in Calcasieu Parish as I speak. We need to start changing some of the curriculum in our school system. We need the basics back. We need to get back to our phonics, our spelling, and Louisiana history. We are raising a generation of kids that cannot even read the Constitution. We need handwriting put back in our schools. And this is why I decided to run for Bessie. The things that I've been fighting for locally, I want to bring to state level. I'm so proud to say, after looking at Cameron's scores, I look at them often because I've been doing this for 7 years. Cameron has one of the top school districts in Louisiana. And I am so proud to be this close as far as Lake Charles is to Cameron and Calcasieu is to Cameron, to brag on Cameron because you all have done it right. Even after all of the hurricanes, after everything we've been through, you came back and showed the rest of Louisiana how it's supposed to be done. I want to go to Bessie and bring you all's model that you used here and let them know that Cameron Parish knows how to bring back a school system. We need to take some of the things that you've done and show them how we can fix it. Please excuse my voice, I've been talking so much. But we have to make some changes. I also want to help those teachers in the classroom, bring paraprofessionals in the classroom. Our teachers are overworked in other parishes. We want to make sure that our teachers have help. You have 2 sets of eyes. Our teachers need someone helping them with, you have 21 kids in the class. So you have some special needs kids and you have some that are non-special needs kids. We need to make sure that both sets of children are getting a great education. You can't do that with one teacher. So you need someone to be able to focus on one set and someone to be able to focus on the other set of children. I want to bring that in the classroom. We have to start making changes. It also helps with our discipline, and those paraprofessionals can serve as an automatic substitute because we have a shortage of substitutes to find to take over teachers' classrooms. I'm also pro-choice for our parents. We have $14,000 a year that's given to all of our children, it's allotted to all of our children to go to school. We still have failing schools. I would not want to have to pay $14,000 out of my pocket for my child to go to a school that's already rated F on their first day. We need to start working on that. I'd like to see vouchers, the voucher program brought into the state of Louisiana, where we can get our vouchers sent out to our parents, and you can use that voucher, that $14,000 voucher, to any school of your choice, because parents know what's best for their children. We need to stop letting the school board tell us where our kids need to go to school. If the school does not fit your child, you need to find a school that meets your child's needs. And you can't do that without having that voucher. So we're hoping that it'll pass, and we're working on that, but I'll be there to push this through. Because even those that are homeschooling can get part of this voucher if we get it right. And those of you that are going to private school also as well, these are our tax dollars, and we have to fight to make sure that our school choices are met. So those are the three things I want to go and do when I first get to Bessie. I want to talk about the Cameron Parish school system. I want to get the school vouchers. I want to fight for our conservative rights. I am a Republican conservative. I want to see the curriculum make changes so that our kids can start learning. 2/3 of our kids in Louisiana cannot read on their level. So we have a lot to do, but that's where I'm going to start at. And I hope I can get your support. I hope I can get your vote. I'm Dr. Kathy Banks, number 41. Please remember me on Saturday when you go out to vote. And God bless you. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. All right, we're gonna do a few of these green cards. Jackie Hebert.
Good morning. I know it's going to be shocking, but I'm here to talk about Dr. Kathy Banks. I just want you to know that I've known her for years. She is who she says she is, and she gets up and she talks a lot about what she's going to do when she gets to school, but what she doesn't talk about is herself. Her and Bishop Bank have started churches and schools in Africa. They are phenomenal. We go to a lot of meetings, and a lot of our competitors talk about all the boards that they've been on and all the stuff that they do and how wonderful they are, but a lot of times she'll leave that stuff out. So I just feel like I wanted to tell you guys this morning that it's a privilege to get to tell you guys about her. There's 3 people running in this race. There's an educator, there's an engineer, and there's a farmer. We need farmers because we need food. I like food. We need engineers because we need stuff built. I like to live in a house. But in this spot, we need an educator. Far too long, Louisiana has bought and paid for this position. And what's happened is our kids have suffered. Common Core needs to go, and we need some common sense back in our classrooms. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Now, what you want to do at your house is fine, but not in front of our kids. It's wrong, and it needs to stop. And Dr. Kathy Banks will stand up for that. Thank you for a minute. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, Sister Fonho.
That's a hard act to follow, y'all. Okay. I'd like to make a disclaimer. I am not a nun. That is a nickname. So, I know y'all can look at me and tell I'm not a nun, but they do dress differently today. However, I am a school board member from Calcasieu Parish, District Number 4. I'm president of the Republican Women of Southwest Louisiana, 230 strong, the largest club in the state, Diamond Club on the national level, and our good friend Kathy Banks is a member of our club and has been for almost 10 years. Also, I'm on the Parish Executive Committee, Republican Parish Executive. I'm on the State Board for Republican Women. This woman, I want to tell y'all about this lady. I taught at Barb High School, retired English teacher, and Kathy was one of my students. She was a young black girl. You know how difficult that was years ago to become a cheerleader at Barb High School when there were 10 black people there. Well, she made cheerleader. She set the curve. Everybody loved her at that school. She was an excellent student, a wonderful person, and she has so much going for her. She and her husband are dynamic. They do so much for our community. They brought in the Boys and Girls Club into Lake Charles. So I would appreciate your consideration when you vote. She is by far the best candidate for this job. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, moving right along, we're gonna, Mr. Charles Benwall, Park Model RVs.
Yes, Dr. Hines, thank y'all for allowing me to speak. I'm here to kind of maybe set the record straight on the Park Model RVs. I think there's been some misinformation about them and what they actually are. They're actually RVs and not mobile homes. And I got some information that might be able to help y'all out if y'all want to take some time to look at it. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time, but it's for y'all to keep. There's been an issue with FEMA. I've been here before. I was here last July and spoke to y'all, and I was hoping y'all would make a decision on what they exactly they are. And they're, like I said, a misconception. They're not trailer houses. They really are RVs, and it can be used for temporary hunting, camping, fishing, and so forth. I do have some in Holly Beach, and they've been there probably now for almost 2 years, and I was hoping to maybe try to clear the matter up. Where it says that they have to be elevated, I think the first page just talks about FEMA, what we all given in regards to what FEMA says about them, and it says they can be on the ground for 180 days, and I think you already have that in the ordinance, where y'all require them to be moved every 180 days, which I think is a good thing because the elements, you know, kind of hard on all the wheels and metal and whatnot. I also, they told me I needed to have a permit for them, and I don't think I need a permit. What I did early on, back in April of 22, before they came down, I got a license to rent RV spots. So that should include, you know, just the coming and going of any RV. Maybe a fifth wheel or a monkey pool or whatever. So, I mean, I went out my way to try to, you know, to be in compliance because they wouldn't allow me a permit for those because they were saying that they wasn't RVs. So I wanted to be in some kind of compliance. So before I came down, I got these licenses, and there's an attached copy of the license in there with all the stuff. So I just would appreciate if y'all would, you know, take a look at that. And maybe y'all can get together and knock heads, because a lot of the people express interest in having these things. You know, as long as you're not living in them full time, you know what I'm saying? I think you can, you know, you can have them for camping, or fishing, hunting. You know, at the beach, just seasonal use. And I mean, I think there's a bunch of literature in there, and you can see where the literature come from. I think there's stamps, you know, and I just would appreciate y'all taking a look at that and maybe get, you know, back with me or.
Well, go ahead, I'll say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a good friend of mine. They have one, they have a tiny home, whatever it's called, a park model.
Mm-hmm.
And, our permanent park, they elevate their trailer before law on Bedford Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they elevated it wouldn't be here today. So they grabbed onto it, one ton dually and hauled it back to Alexander. I wish we could, there needs to be something that we could use these park models. I mean, it's just a bunch of bull that you can't, because you can pick up a Thompson, which you can dually and haul it out here. You know, just like an RV. Now, I don't know what we get with FEMA and them on this mess. I think Thompson went to Washington one time about it. I'm all for it. I mean, because people are gonna grab onto them just like they grab a camper and they're gonna leave. You know, so I think there needs to be a way that we can use it. You know.
Well, if you take a look at some of the literature, if y'all sincere about it, I mean, y'all have.
Well, the thing is, what, because they're 10 foot wide?
They're over the 8.5 feet wide.
You can't just go out there and haul it.
Yeah,
You can't just pull that down the highway.
Hey,
You gotta get a
go in and
permit.
get a permit.
yes, you
Yeah.
can.
And then get
It's
a
$10
$10 permit, you can back down the road.
and you don't even require an escort. You don't require an escort to get up to 14 feet. And truth be known, come during evacuations or hurricanes, they waive all the permits.
Nobody.
You can rock and roll with it.
Evacuation, everybody's getting out of here.
You can rock, exactly. Nobody's gonna wait till the last minute. I can't speak for everybody, but I can assure you that my park model RVs will not be here, you know, a week before the storm. In the event that we ever have something like that. But and that's why I think they're great to get them in and get them out, you know.
So, I mean, guys, you can take the information that he gave you, you can review it, but right now, the ordinance is the ordinance, and we're enforcing the ordinance. So the only way around it is to change the ordinance, which you have the authority to do, but it can't be done today.
Okay.
He's on the agenda for a variance, though. He's asking for a variance. I don't think he's asking for you to change your ordinance. He's just asking you to exempt him from following it.
As of now, he's got to be elevated,
Yes.
So
the park models.
Katie is correct. We're in litigation. This police jury has filed a suit against Mr. Benoit. It's been pending across the street for about a year on this issue. Part of that litigation, there was an issue about that Mr. Benoit had not come to this board requesting a variance and again, we've had this conversation many times. You have the authority to grant a variance if you think it's appropriate and it checks off multiple boxes such as, is it a benefit to the community, is it a necessity, and so forth. We've had that. But that became an issue in the litigation. So, I don't know, Mr. Benoit's lawyer, the judge, whoever suggested he needed to complete this administrative process to have you, because if you grant him the variance, the litigation goes away. We have filed a suit saying he's in violation of your ordinance, and in our opinion, technically he is. Now, he may, but, so this is part of the process for him. So you gotta decide this afternoon whether you grant him the variance or not. If you grant him the variance, then he can leave his park models, we refer to them as park models, on the ground. Right now, he should be elevating them. Mr. Trahan says, hey, why can't we just leave these park models alone, treat them like RVs? Again, in our interpretation, your staff's interpretation, my interpretation, what we've applied for the since Rita, is these park models are not technically recreational vehicles. They're not RVs. It doesn't matter what the manufacturer calls them, what the state calls them, what the Association for Manufactured Recreational Vehicles calls them. Your statute, which again was driven and dictated by FEMA, talks about a square footage. And there's a technical definition of what the square footage looks like. And again, so if the any park model is smaller in its square footage, then it would qualify if it's less than 400 square feet from the vertical, the tongue, basically from the tongue to the end. It's not just the living quarters, it's the whole frame from the tongue to the back. If this park model were less than 400 square feet under that definition, it would qualify as an RV under your ordinance. Not, again, what's the state, the manufacturer, under your ordinance. So if you want to change your ordinance, then you have the authority to change your ordinance. Now, I've had this discussion with your staff and when Miles was still here, and they did not think that was a good idea. They also didn't think FEMA would go along with that to expand the 400 square feet to 450 or something. But regardless, your ordinance says that his park models do not qualify as an RV, therefore it has to be elevated, it has to meet wind code, all the other codes, so to speak. And that's where we're at. So our recommendation would be to deny the variance. We'll go across the street and finish the litigation. The judge may not agree with our interpretation of the ordinance, but that's to be decided. For purpose of today, we recommend a denial of the ordinance. I understand Mr. Benoit's position. We've had multiple conversations with his lawyer about it. We've had multiple conversations in court about it. We're set for trial in November, I think, on this issue. Again, this was just part of the process that he needed to complete to eliminate some procedural and technical issues at trial. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer those questions, and we can go on and on and on. But for the purpose of today, we recommend a denial of the variance. Another thing, Mr. Benoit was here, like you said, maybe last summer, and he wrote a green card because he'd gotten a letter. If you don't fix your problem, we're going to have to go to court. Well, he came to express his thoughts about that. I think he assumed that that was his variance. Technically, it was not. He just came to complain about getting the letter. And I remember standing up before you and saying, what do you, it wasn't on your agenda for a variance. So you really didn't have anything to decide. He got to speak his piece, but technically it wasn't for you to make a decision. Well, today it is. So this afternoon you will vote yes or no on this variance. But again, our recommendation is to deny it, and we go across the street and finish our litigation. So, any questions?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
On RVs, they don't carry flood insurance. They carry like a vehicle type insurance. Am I correct?
They don't have to carry any insurance.
But well, I'm just saying that they wouldn't get flood insurance anyway.
I don't know if you, I personally don't know if you can get flood insurance on a, whether it's a park model or a recreational vehicle or whatever you call it, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a movable structure, so I'm assuming it would have to
Cannot
have.
get it. I could elevate it 100 feet higher than what it is now, and you still can't get flood insurance.
I just want to say,
Because it's movable.
yeah, that would be an argument to go with FEMA with when we had this discussion.
Well, you could, it would, so whether it's a manufactured home, sure enough, mobile home, that we consider mobile home, park model, or whatever, if you elevate it and you put it on a piece of property, you can immobilize it, and you can then convert it from a movable to, because a mobile home is a movable, it has a title, but you can convert it to an immovable by filing an affidavit and declaring it part of the real estate, just like you're building a home. Again, that's a legal issue process. So you can make anything, for the most part, immovable if you file the application or the affidavit saying you're declaring it to be immovable. You remove the wheels, you set it up like you would a house as a permanent structure, and it becomes an immovable. And in that case, I would assume you would be able to get some type of insurance, because now it's what we consider an improvement to the property, and it attaches to the property like a typical home or structure would.
Let me, I have a question, Tom.
Yes, sir.
For you. So these people, they get, insurance, put on their trailers, and for the last several storms that I know of, a lot of these, I'm not just talking about that size, trailer. I'm talking about all the trailers that, just like, Holly Beach, okay? How can they get insurance and not move these vehicles out of the storm area? How can they get paid their insurance when they know that this storm is coming, and they could we all know that after every storm, 90% of those trailers wind up in the Gulf.
So I'll try to answer it. And specifics matter. The fact. So if someone has an RV, a park model that's it's able to be hooked up to a vehicle and moved out, and the individual has an insurance policy to cover the damage to that RV, park model, whatever it may be, and they do not remove it, and then they file a claim. Oh, the hurricane took it away. The insurance company then has a defense, and they usually file this, whether they pursue the defense or not, but they will claim that the owner, the insured under the policy, did not mitigate his damages or her damages, meaning that you have an obligation to make an effort to minimize your damages. So the owner may say, well, hell, I was in the hospital that week when the hurricane hit. I couldn't go, so the facts matter. But that's a defense that the insurance company would have, is to claim, hey, you owner, you did not mitigate or reduce or make an effort to reduce your damages, so we're gonna hold that against you. Then it becomes a factual question of, could they have removed it? Why did they not remove it? But that's a case-by-case basis, but it is a defense that they have in every case to say you did not mitigate. For instance,
You know why I'm asking this question?
well, if you have a particular, no, I'm not particular, I mean, what,
Well, I'm talking about the campers that, and not just those. I'm talking about the campers that was placed on, Holly Beach, multiple trailers owned by one individual that was not removed when the hurricanes came, and, he left them there. And it cost the parish and the people of this parish money because of those units staying there.
well, that, I don't know, I don't recall the particulars of that, Mr. Curtis. But if we have to clean something up through our ordinance, whether it be the weed ordinance, the trash ordinance, the condemnation ordinance, you know, we're entitled to be reimbursed or make a claim for reimbursement in some form or fashion. But again, the particulars of each case matters and how it happened. I just don't remember the particulars of that.
I'm sorry, I kinda got off the subject. I apologize to you. It wasn't aimed at you. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir, I understand. I witnessed the cameras that were there because I was there pre-law myself and lost a camp that I had purchased.
And the
that's one of
RVs
things.
can't be rented too. We have that in our ordinance as well.
Yeah, and look, I'm not here to pick on Mr. Benmar, but we are in litigation, and we filed a suit, as we would do, you know, hey, these park models, he had 2 of them at a location, which I think he owned the property initially where he had them placed. We're a year or so into this litigation, and I learned about a month or 2 ago that he's moved them from his location into
A rental spot.
a rental RV space. He'll have to, I don't wanna question, I mean, his lawyer probably don't want me questioning why he did, but I'll let the judge address the suspicious nature of that activity and how the injunction may apply to him being able to use this and what he may be doing to subvert our ordinances and get around our ordinance. But we'll deal with that in court.
There's nothing suspicious about it. It's just in order for me to prove that they are movable and they can be moved, so they're across the street on some more RV lots. You follow what I'm saying? Because I wanna let the people know that they are in fact movable. And, some of the campers that you referred to, one of the reasons why some of them I can't say for the ones that lost all the campers, but, the slides. I had one down there pre-Laura in 8 months. My chrome rods were so pitted. I got my slides in for 8 months. So another reason why I would like to have these, they are built a little bit more durable. And I think that the people would love to have them down there. I don't think you're gonna get anybody that would be upset if y'all were to allow, not just myself, but, you know, the rest of the
How many
parish.
square feet is yours?
It's a 395 square feet.
That's under the 400.
That's correct. And all that literature will show you the paperwork, and FEMA, it even talks about how it does not have to be blocked, it does not have to be elevated, because in fact, it is an RV. And if it was not an RV, I have a park in Acadia Parish, I can't put them there because it's an RV. So where can you use these things? If you look, they are certified by ANSI, which is the RVIA Association. I mean, a lot of this literature, if y'all would just take the time to read it, then I think y'all can get an informed decision. Like I said, I think it was kind of misleading, and I can explain you how it got misled, was because people were trying to live in them after Rita. They put down a bunch of these park models, and people wanting to leave them on the ground, and they were worried about people maybe trying to stay and ride the storms out of these things, I guess, for their own.
There is an ordinance, we have an ordinance that follows all the campers that are placed in the parish. That there's supposed to be, and Ms. Robert can vouch for this, I think, is, those things have to be, how often do they have to be, taken off?
6 months.
Every 6 months, see, that's a long time, but,
The-
and that's a problem that we had, that they never would do that.
This idea of so this living area is 390 whatever square feet, but the frame extends beyond those are technical legal issues that the judge will decide based on the interpretation of your ordinance, how your staff has interpreted it, how you've applied it for the last almost 20 years since Hurricane Rita.
This is the way they got me, Tom, when I went up there to Washington. They said they can't be moved because they got to have a permit.
That's right.
And if a hurricane comes,
No
you know,
permit loads
so
are allowed.
they shot it out all the way to Washington. I went to Austin, then was going to Washington, and they turned it.
If you
But
want to
that's
change your ordinance, you have that, you can direct your staff to investigate and come back to you with, in a few months, to talk about what FEMA's response to that and how that would affect you and how that would change the landscape with these park models. But as it sits today, and how you have applied this and the jurors before you and your staff, is that technically this park model doesn't. And I'm telling you how many, I won't say hundreds, but many, many dozens of park models we've told your people they can't put them and they gotta get them out. I assume we probably have had lawsuits over that where the court has ruled park models don't qualify, you gotta move them. Again, if you wanna change your ordinance, that's a discussion for another day. But as it sits now, technically it doesn't fit as an RV in your definition. We're in litigation over these issues. I'd rather finish this before the judge, and again, we can revisit your ordinance if that's what you want to do, but for sake of today, he doesn't comply, it doesn't fit, deny the variance, and we continue. And he's not done, he still has his day in court.
Yeah. We got that on the vote meeting,
Yes.
about his variance and everything? Okay, good deal.
Well, I appreciate y'all, taking the time. I wish y'all would just consider looking at that. I think y'all all
We'll read it.
have to make an
I
decision.
got one question.
Yes, sir.
Are you living in these or you renting them?
No, sir. I'm, renting them.
So you're a business?
And I've also, if you look, I've got some tax
I
forms.
seen all that. That's my question. Are you a business?
Business, correct. Yes.
All right, thank you, sir. Any more questions for him? All right, thank you, sir. All right, we got one more green card, Gail Hunt, property, destruction.
Okay, what it is, my mother has property, and after Laura, there's damage in the property. Neighbor stuff got thrown into her property, and so I've been told to clean it up, which I have been doing. So, over this time of cleaning it up, I've been told I'm not doing it fast enough. Because I'm only by myself doing this, trying to get other people to help me. I have had help. People can't help me the way I can get in there and do it. They gave me September 30th to get it cleaned up, or they're gonna hire people to come in and get it done. I have people that wanna come in there and get it done, and it won't cost me nothing. It won't cost the police jury nothing. Won't cost anybody nothing. But through the summer with 110-degree, outside trying to work on this, it just didn't happen the way I felt it should have been happening. Or police juryman or whoever it is that's saying that this needs to be cleaned up. So I do have people coming in to do it, but they're saying that they gave me till September 30th, or they're gonna hire people to come in and doze down everything they have out there. Little bit of items that I've been told that needs to be gone is personal items, personal that belongs to, somebody that they can use. And I don't understand why a lot of these items that are told to me that needs to be gone, should be gone, because it's not items that have been abandoned or items that have been, left there unattended. And I'm just trying to figure out when they're gonna come in there and doze it down. How much time do I have?
Jonathan had contacted me, so I think I got over care of it. Jonathan, Debbie's, is it Debbie's?
He's coming tomorrow.
Yeah, he contacted me, and I was just talking to Kirk about it too, about,
Is it-
why we can't give y'all an extension.
How much time do you need?
Yeah, what's your time span?
Well, as I've been told, there's certain items that needs to be gone. Can I get an itemized something saying
It's
what?
not- I don't know why we
are we itemizing things now?
Well,
I've been
It's
told
general,
different
the
things.
whole property. It's not certain things, it's the property. The neighbors are complaining, they send the complaints to us.
I mean, it's specific things. I mean, there's some things on the right of way that are,
And that
it
has
looked
to
like it was a
rise.
trailer that's just been demolished. There's an RV. There's a lot of abandoned property that needs to be removed. A lot of tin buildings that are demolished. I mean,
Provided her a list.
well, I mean, we've kind of spoke on the phone.
We
to
spoke,
say-
but that's what I'm saying. I need to know, because every time I speak, there's different things that's been told to me, and if I can,
How long of a time span do you look to clean that? I went rode out there and looked at it, cause people call me, Kirk, and I talked to Kirk, and I talked to the different neighbors that are by that spot. And I ain't seen nothing that's been done. And I've been out there and I rode, and looked at it twice. Give us a time span, what do you think you need to
Well,
get
I'm
it
pretty sure-
presentable where it looks decent in that neighborhood?
I'm pretty sure, my nephew's coming tomorrow. He's probably not gonna stay more than just a couple of weeks. Then I got a son that's gonna be coming in November, and he's the one who's got the excavator, and I just purchased the, tractor to get it all done.
This is a bunch of different pictures.
So you need to the first of the year, or?
Well, I'm hoping that's all it's gonna take me, cause
I
I
mean,
personally,
how long
there's
has
a,
this been going on, since Laura or Delta, 2 years now, we've been
Before.
working on cleaning this
well,
up?
that's,
Before that.
there's a.
Before that,
Yes, sir.
so, I mean, you're talking a long time span that's nothing has been done.
Well, before that, see, my mother had control over that, and I, did what I could do. Now that she's passed away, then I feel like we need to, get out there and do what we need to do to make it look presentable, but up until then, I couldn't, it was like, I'm not saying I had my hands tied, but it really wasn't as bad as it looks now.
I mean, I live across the road, the pasture, I see nothing happening. I'm dealing with the neighbors.
Yeah, and even though there
We
has
have
been
ordinance
things
for
pulled
this.
away, I still hear that, there's nothing done.
I rode up, I went to go see for myself, I was told that some things got moved from the back to the front, and nothing being hauled out, so I went to look for myself, and I seen a pile of stuff up front that was, you told me, you wait for a dump trailer or something,
Okay, the dump trailer has been hauled, 5 times has been hauled off, full,
okay?
and then I'm told
When was
nothing's
the last
done.
time?
Probably about 2 months ago, the dump trailer, and I'm filling it up now. It's there, but it's not full with anything right now.
I mean,
But
we
In
can't give you another
Sweet
year,
Lake-
6 months is pushing it,
in Sweet Lake, I am not allowed to bring that dump trailer
why not?
because I was told that I cannot.
You can
At the
go,
dump.
you just can't dump it, you gotta.
You gotta unload it.
I wasn't told that.
You
Because
can't
we
just dump
had
on the
nothing
ground.
but iron into it, and they just told us to go
If it's
away.
iron,
And it
if
was
it's
nothing but
only
iron at the time.
you can probably dump that, and we normally, we have iron, somebody can fix up the iron.
You ain't have trash with it.
Like, you have no trash in it whatsoever.
Well, that's the second time I've heard that complaint. So I've heard it from somebody else. So you need to make sure your dump people are, understanding that they can come in there with dump trailers, they just can't dump the truck.
Right.
They can hand pick everything
And then
out of it.
2 weeks ago, I had somebody to come help me, and in my little trailer, which I said is only wood into that, by the time I came back, they had wood, metal, everything, and see, that's what I'm saying, sometimes people helping me just ain't working out.
Robin, you got an updated picture of all this?
That's
Like,
the
you know?
updated picture.
That's the updated pictures?
October 3rd.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so you thinking end of November, December?
I mean, y'all, and we have to see some
I mean,
substantial.
we'll
and-
revisit.
Probably by
it.
December,
We-
because-
We can come back and revisit it in December and see what you got done.
In December, that's when
And we'll
Thomas
make a
is coming, and
decision
Thomas
from there.
doesn't
I
close
mean,
his eyes as to what he picks up. He
It's
don't
gonna
care.
take some major machinery to get some of that
Yeah.
stuff out of there.
And I
I
think
mean-
you got some hazardous stuff in there,
Yeah.
paint stuff too, that rust out, get in the ground, chemicals.
I'll support giving them more time.
So I mean, I don't have a problem giving you more time, but I just don't wanna draw it out another year or two.
Yeah, see, I didn't know if it was because of that metal building was everybody's eyesore,
It's everything.
cause I can get rid of that right now.
No,
You
it's-
got
Which-
fix over campers.
Which in the way back, well, the camper, I started picking that up, but it's not out yet.
You know, the grass and all,
I wanna be careful.
And the grass has been cut all summer long.
we wanna be careful on how critical we are with people in the parish of cleaning their property up, because one man's junk is another man's treasure. And y'all know that. We got the corners of all our yards that probably not as sightful as somebody next door might think it needs to be.
Yeah, was it a
But
trailer?
so we don't wanna set a precedent on how clean. We want it cleaned up, yes, and I agree.
Grass hasn't been cut.
I agree that the grass needs to be cut
The
and all of that.
grass has been cut all summer long.
But I do not wanna set a precedent on how clean we gonna be picking on one person versus another person. Cause we can ride through our communities and there's
Oh,
places,
and we're getting a lot of complaints in the whole community. You can ask Mr. Curtis, I'm dealing with a lot of
I
stuff.
agree, but without, my opinion, without having zoning, we need to tread lightly with this.
I think we have to have zoning to make somebody keep their property clean.
Well, I mean, clean to me might be different than clean to you. And, but we know basically what a basic clean is, but we don't wanna get too critical on how.
Well, most of the stuff that is here, I mean, most of the property is stuff that is destroyed. Now, she does have 2 new buildings there, those are good, and like, we've discussed, she has some fencing that is stacked, we're not gonna touch that.
I just say that because in general, you can ride through all our
Oh, correct.
communities and
Yes, sir.
find places like.
We tend to overlook a lot of this, but when it becomes a safety issue, when there's rats, health issue, things of that nature, we have to address. Without zoning, though, we don't have the ability to designate how clean something's gonna be or in a subdivision or what have you. And we're kinda handling it all like agriculture, if we will. You can't go tell the farmers to go park their tractor in a different spot or park their trash. My point, I agree with you guys, that something needs to be done, but we have to be careful. We have to be very, very careful.
So it's on the agenda, so, this afternoon, if you wanna grant an extension, if you wanna table it, or if you wanna move on it, it'll be on the agenda this afternoon for a vote.
Okay.
I tell you what, maybe we could table it the next month and see the progress. No progress is happening.
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing with it.
All right,
Well, the
Any more
December
que-
meeting is on December 6th.
Yeah, that's fine.
all right,
this
anything else,
afternoon,
Gil?
All right,
Just make
thank
a
y'all.
motion to
Thank you.
All right,
table it for however many days.
Okay, Terry Mott, 114 Dan Street, condemnation.
How you doing?
Good.
I need time to finish tearing the house down, so I'm done, see.
That, the house is on the,
This is on,
It's on the voting agenda.
yeah, this is the Dan Street address.
right, but that was on the, people way back on the, it wouldn't cost them anything, that's on the.
They did not put it on the PPD or, no, sir.
It was supposed to have been.
They were supposed to, but they did not.
Oh, y'all never put it on.
It was on there, but Nell had actually did it off of there, I'd actually put it back on there, get back on there again.
They only told me $6,500 to tear it down.
No, that was supposed to be on that,
They told me
They-
$6,500.
They didn't get on there. I've already verified that with OEP.
Ash,
It's not on there. It's not. I've already verified it
yeah,
with
that
them.
was supposed to be added back, because I called.
Yeah, because I spoke to them on August the 31st of last year and requested that they try and get on the PPDR.
Because
And it never
was-
got put on there.
I talked to Janelle, they wanted to take it off, they wanted to try to save some lumber or something out of it, and.
We wanted to try to fix, we wanted to try to pick the house up and fix it, but I got cancer, and so I couldn't do anything for a while, and we got straightened out. And my boys were tearing it down a little bit here, a little bit there, you know, and you had a guy come in and tear the corner off.
Yeah.
This time and this money, it's the whole deal, you know, just.
I mean, the house has already been, it had to be moved off of some property,
Down mine.
off of your
I
property.
was on the phone
Yeah.
with, Butch's son,
I was about a foot on the corner of your property.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be on that Acton list.
It never got on there. That would have
There
been
was a deadline on when you could submit properties.
correct.
It was after the deadline.
The deadline's up?
It's
Yes.
been up for.
And what was, Mary, what's the lowest bid on that I got?
Cause it was on the list, and then.
So it's not it's not eligible to be on PPDR, that's done. So they're gonna either have to tear it down themselves, y'all can grant them an extension, or we move to the lowest
The
quote.
lowest bid.
Is
$6,500.
We'll give y'all some
6,500.
Just give them some more time. Yeah,
it'll be on the vote meeting.
It's on the vote meeting,
It's on the
we
vote
decide how much more time we're gonna give them. Ms. Gail.
Give me a January before then, just.
Yeah, how-
time.
Alright, sir.
You know, I have it.
How long do they think they'll have? I mean,
January.
So 90 days.
Sounds good.
We've been tearing down a little bit here and there, you know, trying to work and things. But cancer kept me back from
Oh, I know
going to
you
work.
got health issues.
Get back going.
That's okay.
Correct.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move on to number 4, Ship Channel Rock. Ship Channel Rock. I just wanna, I put that on there, I come to the gravity drainage, Cameron Creel watershed meeting the other day. And, you know, they had a big meeting, they had a bunch of people up here making decisions and doing things. And the only one that made any sense in the whole meeting was Tad Terry, a shrimper down here in Cameron, about, you know, stopping intrusion of salt water. We gotta start on a ship channel to get that intrusion stopped, to keep it from going in the marshes. They wanna start in the marshes and work south, well, that doesn't work. We've seen that, you know. And Tad, you know, he was trying to tell them, but these people up here was so concerned about putting coverts, and they were gonna solve this problem, and they ain't solved the problem in the last, since the Weir's been there. So I'll just put it on there to get Katie to start doing some research, to try to start looking for some funds to start rocking, even if it's just 100 foot a year, maybe, but we gotta do something on that to worry about anything else, you know?
Yeah, it was allocated to do the whole, both sides of the river
Yep.
development, but they took the money they needed elsewhere.
I think, Garrett, did you have the plans on your phone or something that they were showed, or was that Scooter had it where they had plans, they got these big cement deals that they set in there and you put the spall.
Yeah, that was Scooter, that was.
Scooter had it.
Yeah.
They got these big cement things that they have, they have set in like a pit, you pump into there and it will.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, just something, I mean, we need to start working somewhere on that, cause the marsh creation, all the stuff we're doing is useless, because I mean, when that water comes in, it's coming through there like crazy through the ship channel, so.
So, Mr. Joe, in January, we are gonna start updating our Cameron Parish master plan, and that'll be the appropriate time to start meeting with all the stakeholders, our fishermen, and they could provide, you know, their advice and their conceptual projects for inclusion and adoption in the master plan. There is a project currently being developed that Mr. Scott's talking about, Quipros, they're developing it, and it's creating these spoil banks to shore up the east side of the ship channel. In January, February, they'll submit that to Quipro for approval. It might not get approved, but regardless, we invited them to come to our coastal master plan meetings for discussion and possible inclusion into our plan. So all of this will start taking place after January 1st, and you know, we just need to get the word out, invite everyone in the public. They need to attend these public meetings and make sure they're taken.
There was some work done on that, wasn't there?
On the ship channel?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the legwork, design work.
Not for this particular project that Quipper is developing. Theirs is more geared to where taking spoil from, because they're running out of spoil banks on the ship channel, so taking this spoil and pumping it into some
What
structures.
Joe was talking about putting rock maybe
But
or something.
the original CPRA project, they were going to armor the ship channel. There was some pushback from the fisheries. They didn't like the width of the cuts and how they were gonna shore up the old river and stuff. And so instead of working through that issue, they just pulled the whole project and started, gearing toward putting more water structures, throughout the lake rim. So, that's CS 87, is that what the
Yeah.
number is? So,
That's what-
that idea has been abandoned.
That's what killed our lake.
Yeah, but we will start working on some projects.
It'll work.
Yeah, that was the Calcasieu Salinity Control Measures Project, which CS 87 has now taken that project and will be implemented on the east side with about 115 culverts. So that was, that's being developed now, currently in modeling with CPRA. They look to start the first phase of the installation of them culverts in probably 2025.
Well, let me ask you,
But there is bank line stabilization throughout throughout the lake and throughout the GIWW. That has been presented to CPRA.
Where does that funding come from? Doesn't the Port of Lake Charles operate this ship channel?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, now look, I got a problem, we got limited funds to fix things in the parish, and we gotta spend it on the ship channel, when their responsibility is to do that. We have to figure some way.
Their responsibility is to keep that channel dredged out.
Yeah, they
They're
don't care
not
about us.
responsible for what washes
Hey,
out.
they should be responsible for anything
They
that
just so
costs.
happened in Grand Chenier to the port, when they dug that slip through the ridge in Grand Chenier to make the Mermentau go straight out, we got sued by the landowners, and the landowners won. And, the port had $1 million or so, we had to give that to that lady that owned that land because it ate her land out.
Yeah.
So why can't they be liable? It's already, the case has already been heard. I mean, they should be liable to keep from eating that land down on the side of the channel. Because all they have is a 400-foot right of way. The rest of it is eaten out from them.
I just think
Well,
we ought-
they ate out the whole section from 9 Mile Cut all the way to the.
Well,
to the
both
island.
sides, like
And
the
they
Goose
can't-
Cut.
That's
They can't
why.
deny that because the
Yeah.
river didn't go straight right there, it went through the lake.
Yep.
They made that, so they should be liable for the land on each side.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah,
we
and
just,
just keep in mind, any project that we do, there is a maintenance commitment letter that you have to submit. Who is gonna maintain this project for the project life? So just keep that in mind too. So, there is, for the next Quipper round, it's PPL 34. Since we're talking about the ship channel, there is the Calcasieu Rim Restoration Project that is, will be proposed for the PPL 34. EPA is proposing the project. Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, has
So
already
we-
began,
So what you telling us is that they're gonna armor the whole bank line of the lake?
no, this is the restoration of the Calcasieu Ship Channel on the east side that has already been degraded.
Mhm.
So they want to do it in probably 3 increments, due to funding. So, that has to be, they're gonna have to dredge either from the Gulf, from the lake, to build up that bank again, and then they have to armor the bank line on all sides to stop the erosion.
Are we doing that, or?
No, no, we're not, but if you wanna provide a letter of support to the project,
Yeah, we wanna do
you know,
that.
that would be something that.
I just don't wanna be liable for them ships
Correct.
coming out again.
Yeah.
you know.
Right, they talked about going to, and speak to the LNG industries and possibly the port for commitment, cause after the 20-year project life, someone has to agree and sign for the maintenance. So, just wanted to, you know, since we're talking about that, that's gonna be a,
Well, all I know is that, if you don't fix next to this channel, then you're gonna have to fix somewhere else. Because it's washing out. I've been there this year, and it every trip I make along that east bank, it washes more and more.
right.
And eventually, it's gonna be right next to the levee that runs from Cameron all the way to Grand Lake, and it's gonna eat that levee out. You're gonna have to armor that at some point. There's
Right.
Just not enough.
I mean, we can,
background.
definitely bring it to CPRA and try to find.
And the lake is
funding for
dead.
that.
I mean, the lake is dead.
Yeah.
People say you can't raise a shrimp, you can't raise a crab unless you got the marsh access. And I understand that we tabled a permit for them to refix that levee that was damaged by the storm.
Cameron Creel levy?
Yeah,
No, we issued,
we tabled it 2 meetings ago.
yeah, the first time you tabled it, then you approved it.
We did approve it.
Yes, you did.
We did. I was here.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not sure.
We were supposed to have gotten,
We just had, we called a meeting for the Cameron Creel committee members to have a meeting here, which was held last week, I wanna say, and that's when
Yeah.
Joe was talking about that meeting.
so you approved it, you say it's approved.
yeah.
But we didn't know,
We tabled the operation structure.
The
We wanted them to come to us on how they was gonna operate that back there. That's what we tabled.
And they
we
did.
never
And they
approved.
didn't come to us they went ahead and made their plan and didn't come back to us. Am I right?
And then
Sonny wanted them to talk on
we
the
had a special
operations
meeting,
plan.
and they did come and talk to us.
Right.
And made some promises. We get lots of promises. But, to get back to the subject that we're talking about, we're talking about all these little projects that every time they do, we do one, they negate it by widening and deepening the damn ship channel. They've done it, extending the jetties. When they extend the jetties, they cause erosion on the beach. Sooner or later, somebody's gonna have to take ownership of this and say, okay, if we're gonna spend this money, these people need to operate within these means, and that's it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how we get that done, because Fort Lake Charles is a very powerful group, but they need to step up to the plate and do their job. Not us have to come behind them and do the job for them, and then take on, maintenance on top of that, which we
Yeah.
can't afford to do.
Yeah.
So I implore you guys and anybody that has an idea, how do we get them to the table to make the whole region
Our court
work?
record sitting in the back, maybe she can help us on that.
You can't, Lake Charles is powerful, and they don't care about us now. You know, several years ago, they come down there and tried to expropriate land on the ship channel. That's why we had to hire the lobbyist group to watch them. Cause they were trying to pass bills in Baton Rouge, under our eyes. I mean, they don't care about us down here.
And look-
They using it, ship channel, and that's it, they don't care.
And don't misunderstand me, I'm not trying to in any way hurt the people of Calcasieu with the shipping and the work, but they need to be.
I don't wanna be hurt down
They
here.
they driving through your right of way, they need
Right.
to take care
They
of
need
what
to
they
fix
mess
it.
up.
That's right.
Shoot, we fought them years ago over that Hackberry thing, and, ended up going all the way to the government,
Yeah.
to shut us down.
so you saying on this other issue, you saying that the permit was, passed?
The permit is passed and
When?
approved.
At what meeting?
I don't
Can
know
you all
when it
pull
was.
the minutes of that and have it for me at the next?
Katie
before the
has
next meeting? Thank you.
But we just called a meeting and they did discuss the operations plan,
Yeah.
so they did.
But we didn't vote on after the meeting. After that meeting, we didn't have a meeting to vote on, is what I'm saying, to approve.
On the
that permit.
operations.
On the operation only.
Sonny wanted me to call a meeting with the board to talk on the operations plan. And so we did that, and that happened last week.
And most of the shrimpers
Yeah, the
here.
fishermen.
I understand that, but when did we pass the permit?
They said
Then
they
we
did.
go do the.
If I'm not mistaken, I said they didn't need a permit.
We voted not to fix it, but the state overrules us, right? Am I right?
Well, the man come over here for the patrol
Right, and he
guy.
presented the presentation.
Yeah, what he was gonna do,
Mhm.
he was gonna fix the sheet pilings, the levees,
Yeah.
ingress, going in, coming out, and then he didn't have anything to do with the gates, fixing the gates.
Yeah.
He was just doing everything else. You hear that meeting, Lee? That was the meeting again.
Everything that was destroyed from Hurricane Laura.
Meeting where we voted on the
It
permit.
is police jury meeting.
They,
I didn't miss a police jury
yeah,
meeting,
they pretty much.
and I can't recall that.
They pretty much said they didn't need a permit, that they were, this is maintenance.
So we
This is
didn't
not
give them a
rebuilding.
permit, or we did give them a
They
permit?
had a permit, they had to apply for a permit
From us,
from the state and from us.
did we give them a parish permit?
Yes.
I want-
It was a state
I want the
concern
minutes where
permit,
y'all
we did a
say-
letter of no
say
objection.
y'all- I just want the minutes to show us where we.
That's fine, we'll get that to you.
All right,
Cause I don't remember it.
And I support the rock, I want you to understand that.
oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't think we ought to be maintained.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to number 5, update from the DA on motion and order to approve amendments to CEA with Venture Global.
Thank you. Gentlemen, so in 2016, the police jury signed an agreement with Venture to abandon Davis Road so they could build their plant. And in exchange, Venture agreed to build you what we now know as Lighthouse Bend. Market, restaurant, RV park, pavilion, where we had the fishing festival this year, nice boat launch. Since 2016, that cooperative endeavor agreement, the CEA, has been amended 4 times. And recently, Venture's lawyers suggested that the original CEA had a component of, it went through we call the bond validation process, where you file a suit, notify the citizens, and the judge approves the agreement. So that happened. Because that was the process that was done, and then we subsequently amended the agreement, Venture Global's lawyers thought it would be appropriate to go back to the judge and the court to approve the amendments. Makes sense. So we filed a motion last month. The hearing is set for Tuesday, October 17th at 10 o'clock with Judge Richard for the judge to, we're asking the judge to approve those 4 amendments that we've made over the course of time. I know some of you, and so we had to publish that in our legal news so people saw it. I mistakenly referred to it as a pilot agreement, so that may have confused a few people. My mistake. Technically, it's a cooperative endeavor agreement. So that's what we're doing. Next week is ask the court to approve it. Any citizen can object, file a motion to object, whatever. But basically, the 4 amendments, the first 2 amendments were just adjusting the final investment decision date. So, you know, that was just, this was again back in 2016. The plant was not built. They had not even gotten their financing. So we just adjusted that date, or you adjusted that date on 2 occasions. The 3rd amendment escapes me. The 4th, the most recent amendment, was you decided, I think from your experience and just having to deal with the jetty pier and the personnel and whatnot, when Venture offered that they would hire a 3rd-party operator to manage and operate the restaurant and market, I'll speak for myself, it seemed like a pretty good deal, because anyway. So that was the 4th amendment, that we agreed to let them operate as opposed to you finding an operator and taking on that burden and obligation. So that's it. Nothing significant. We haven't changed the dynamics or the merits of the deal. Where I mean, they basically they have delivered to us the facility that they promised that they would deliver, and we're just asking the court to approve those multiple amendments.
What part of that road did we give up? From DeHico to the end?
There's a sign out there now.
Huh?
The back part of it, yeah.
From DeHico to the very end? Okay, so the Henry still has access to all their docks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do recall, it's been a few years, that was a concern, that we did not want to cut off the property owners on the loops access to continue to use and benefit and lease their property. So that adjustment was considered by the prior.
It's way up on this end, but they just kind of.
So at one point when construction began, they did move, they took, so wherever the official abandonment point was, they moved the gate north a little ways because of public traffic. People would go down there, there was no place to turn around. It would interfere with their big trucks and, construct. So y'all agreed to allow them to move a gate and temporarily close that. But part of the deal was those property owners still had to have access. So they were given special passes or permits to get to their property, get through the gate. It was more of a public safety issue, and we worked through those issues some time back. So yeah, I mean.
But Tom, they haven't come back they don't want to try to do it like they did last time. There's no way, because you got like a few hundred people out there that go to that
do what?
EPS dock and stuff.
No. Nobody's asking to change
It's
any
not
of that.
like it was last time, because that was kind of a mess.
No. There's.
I was just wondering where.
Yeah, technically, the abandonment would be at the plant site. There's a gate a little further north that someday we hope will go away when, but now they're about to start CP2 by all indications. So, I mean, which we're thrilled to hear about that. But that's it. I just wanted to update you on, because there, again, if there was some confusion, it's just to get the court to approve those
I
amendments.
think it shows up as litigation.
It is, so it's the, so when you do what we call these validation lawsuits, it's the Cameron Parish Police Jury versus the citizens. So that's why you notice. So it is technically, I mean, that suit was filed in 2016. We're just filing a motion under that docket to ask the court to approve these amendments, and technically it is a lawsuit to approve the motions.
I got one last comment to make. I just want to know, are they going to be able to write this off of their taxes at some point in time?
You mean write it off of our ad valorem taxes or the income taxes?
Ad valorem taxes.
So your cooperative endeavor agreement that you executed in 2016 that the court approved, that we're now having these few technical amendments, has a paragraph that talks about a pilot agreement. It contemplates that the police jury and Venture would at some point in the future enter into discussions and ultimately execute a pilot agreement so that Venture would get a credit on their ad valorem taxes in the future, whenever they start paying taxes in after their 10-year exemption. So but we have not, they haven't called asking to start those discussions. I don't know that I don't know what they'll do.
So it'll be a separate discussion.
It'll be a separate agreement, it will be a true pilot agreement like you did with Chenier back in 2007, 2008, where they get a dollar for dollar credit in year 11 or whatever. But I just assumed that was part of the original deal, that had been negotiated, but it had not. And that was just when I was referring to this as a pilot agreement, it may have confused the staff and you all. I just thought that, but technically that has not been addressed. It hasn't been negotiated, has not even been discussed, but it is in your CEA that at some point in the future we'll discuss that potential, that possibility.
I got one thing, Tom.
So that help.
Go ahead.
So right now they do not have they're not entitled to a credit.
The boat launch. The boat launch we have is, all we get is complaints about it. It's not what we had before. Is there a way that we can get
I'm going to address that, Scott. So at the fishing festival, I was out there Friday and Saturday, and Friday afternoon I see somebody that we know that has one of those park models over in Rutherford, pulls out at least a double, maybe triple axle with a 27 8-foot center console big offshore boat. Pulls it out, and I look over there and I see him coming out of the boat launch, and he comes to weigh in fish, and I said, hey, you have any trouble with getting that boat out of that boat launch and this, that, and the other? I said, absolutely not. So I don't know what you're hearing and who's complaining, but this is me speaking, asking, knowing that was a complaint some weeks and months ago, and I saw it happen, and the guy's like, no problem. And he wasn't pulling it out with an 18-wheeler truck. I mean, he was pulling it out with his 250 Ford truck like I had. I mean, so I don't know what the complaints are. I mean, if you want engineering to go out and take some measurements and get the slope, look at the design and whatnot, I guess that would be the best thing to do. Is
they're fixing to dredge it out again.
And the dredging that's a different. But on that particular day, I saw a 28-foot center console double, triple axle trailer coming in and out of that boat launch, and I asked him for that particular reason. And I asked several other people that were using the launch that day, and nobody had any problems. So what I would suggest is don't take somebody's subjective. Let's ask your staff to, if we can get our hands on the plans of the boat launch, see the angle, the depth, how far out it goes, and look at the technical aspect of it and see, well,
it's similar to the old one.
Well, just see that just get some objective engineering technical opinion about the slope of that concrete launch in boats and how far back. I mean, it just
goes way back.
They had the ramp on the low tide is about 6 foot deep.
Yeah.
At the end of the ramp, low tide.
It's got to back a long way down.
Yeah, you got to get
But the jetties was like that back in the day. When you went out to the jetties, if you low tide, you had to back way down there to get off of that thing, or you couldn't.
Well, anyway,
that's
that's
good.
another story.
All right.
Any questions about the CEA? It'll be Tuesday at 10 o'clock. We're asking the court to approve those 4 amendments. That you've already voted and approved and signed them. I mean, this is just a technical thing that we're, I didn't think that we even needed to ask for the approval, but Venture's lawyers wanted to do this, so we're doing it. All right.
Good
Thank
deal.
you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Joe, I have one other thing, please, if you don't mind.
All right, go ahead.
Ms. Monte, can you give us some, updated progress with the, oyster, leases?
Sure.
I've been questioned about them, and I just wanna ask.
So we actually have oysters in the park now. Buoys will be put out on the south end of the park where we had it marked with PVC pipe to begin with, but on the south end there's a rougher current than we originally anticipated, and scouring has occurred at the bottom of the PVC pipes that are the markers for the park, and so they're not going to stay standing on that south deeper end. So we ordered buoys. They're going to be put out that are going to have lights on them, just like the outer marking every other buoy. K&M is here. They're going out actually probably next week to put the rest of the lights up, and that's the only thing left marking. There are some oysters out in the park because we have one tenant that is has a bottle nursery, and when he started with his seed, they exploded rapidly because when they are tiny, they grow, and he had no place to go with them. So he put them in the park. They're doing great. He said he looks like he's going to have from his teeny tiny seed to harvestable oysters in 4 months. Which the salinity right now, he texted me yesterday, the salinity out there is 31 parts per thousand, so.
Seawater.
It's seawater.
Yeah.
So I had some questions about the washout effect. Is the reason.
And that's what it,
So that.
I mean, on the oyster park, that's a desirable thing, but not so much for the rest of the lake.
Yeah, well, that was the question.
Yep.
But thank you very much.
Mhm.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Let's go review our agendas.
Katie, all these, change orders for the barn up north, that's all paid for, right?
Yes.
That's all FEMA?
Yes, sir.
All right.
How did bids
You
go
seen
when
it? Huh?
Fort Paris Barn yesterday?
You seen,
Sir?
Is it today or yesterday y'all put bids, Mary?
Bids were open yesterday. It's on the voting agenda for today.
I see that.
Ricky Poole?
We have, 2 competitive bids for the Cameron Maintenance Barn and Livestock Pavilion. So you'll be considering, a base bid plus 3 alternates. So we'll give those numbers to you in the voting meeting. You can decide if you're just gonna fix just the barn and the pavilion electrical, and then fix the offices after the first of the year, if you wanna accept the bids for all of it and fix it all right now.
Yeah. Waterworks District One, sewer.
Get it all, I say get it all done.
You have $700,000 of insurance money, and fix all of it, you're gonna be about $128,000 short, so you'd have to allocate some general fund dollars. So it's on the afternoon agenda for consideration.
It probably comes to you guys, energy on permits B. They're gonna just put clay back, is that what they're planning on doing?
Yeah, that's what the application has, Mr. Sonny. I haven't reached out to them yet. I can, get some more information.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
they need to put some aggregate on that, because all
Right.
it's gonna do is wash right back out.
I know.
If they want it to stay, I mean, we're gonna approve the permit either way, but they really need something besides clay.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Here, Mayor,
What you got?
talking to you about an add-on. Jessica, about Edie, is it on here? Nothing ain't on there, but add it on.
No, that's an add-on. What is it?
Remove Edie Higgins and appoint Lexi Martin. And then remove Jessica Skipper and appoint Jada Cole
Okay.
off the camera rate board. Cause they don't, Edie moved or, and Jessica's not here to get her mom.
Okay.
Katie, would one of you guys wanna, kind of consolidate and put into normal words, the consolidation of the waterworks districts? Because we're gonna go over a lot of this, but this meeting is recorded, and I don't know if
Yes.
we're gonna watch the other one.
So this is consolidating the district boundaries of Cameron, Creo, and Grand Chenier Water. This isn't tax dollars, this is just the district boundaries. That is all this is doing. So it'll take Cameron Sewer out. Cameron Sewer will remain intact, so if you live in Cameron, you will still answer to the same Cameron Sewer Board. You will still pay your same Cameron Sewer tax like normal. If you are in Cameron, Creo, Grand Chenier, you will begin to operate under one consolidated waterwork district. You'll be known as the South Cameron Consolidated Waterwork District Number 1. And so it's combining the 3 staffed into one office, and it will be managed accordingly.
And our money gotta stay in each district.
Each district.
Can't take money from Cameron and bring to Creo
You cannot do that.
until we vote in front of the people.
So once you consolidate this, if you choose to finish the consolidation this afternoon, at the next meeting in November, you will appoint a consolidated board, 5 members. That board, once they start meeting, then they will decide if they want to consolidate the future tax dollars or not, but it'll be their decision, those 5 people's decision. Yes, but you cannot take Grand Chenier's money and go spend it in Cameron, or vice versa. And Creo is looking to be in, pretty decent shape this year according to the tax rolls. So they're no longer, in a bind for money or bankrupt. They're looking at moving out and, operating independently beginning the first of the year.
Is that, I thought that had to be a vote of the people, no?
It will if you combine the tax dollars.
The board gotta decide.
But you're not combining tax dollars right now. You're only combining the district.
And we can do that in any.
So like in Grand Lake, for example, if you live in Big Lake, Sweet Lake, Grand Lake, you all are a part of the Waterwork District 11. Doesn't matter which community you live in, you're in Waterwork District 11. It's the same thing we're doing down here. Cameron, Creo, Grand Chenier, they're gonna all be a part of the same water district now, no matter what community they live in.
That was to get that grant.
Yeah. Now they're gonna collect their ad valorem tax independently per community still, and still spend it on their own employees and their own infrastructure. But they're gonna operate as one system now.
And Cameron and Creole and Grand Chenier, we have been out of compliance for a long time now.
And what's
Yes.
the benefit of that?
The benefit is to provide better quality drinking water to everyone in South Cameron area.
But if you're gonna spend the money, you can't spend the money that Grand Chenier collects or Cameron collects in Creole. How does it benefit the system?
Well, if
We've got a grant.
And you can get a
If we had
grant.
consolidated, the Louisiana would give us that grant for $1.5 million.
not somebody else is gonna take it.
So without getting too technical, Grand Chenier has a problem with, they have too much water in their system and not enough users. So they flush 90% of their water and put it on the ground to try to stay in compliance.
Cost them money.
Creo has 4 wells, and they need to abandon 2, same thing. Cameron, they traditionally had a lot of users, but their water is, they have a lot of ammonia, and they have to do a lot of chemical treatments just to make it even compliant.
This way.
So connecting all of it, you solve Grand Chenier's under-usage problem. They can pump water all the way to Cameron. Creo could abandon wells that they can't afford to fix. There would be more than enough water to serve all 3 communities, and it should be easier to maintain, easier to treat, cheaper to treat, provide clean, quality drinking water to everyone.
Because we've been out
It's a
of
different
compliance.
system and a different way we're gonna do the water.
Is there gonna be any changes in personnel?
No one's losing their job. No one's changing how they do their job. They're just gonna work together. It would be a coordinated effort
Now Cameron
to
Creek
improve
can go help Ranch when
operations.
they got a problem.
Right.
Before, it was kinda iffy, so I understand. Okay.
That help?
No.
So a couple of things. Number one is
When the LNG money comes in to Cameron, because they're in that district.
It'll only go to Cameron right now.
Okay, all right. Let me start from the beginning. Number one, the state gave this community $15 million to improve those 3 water systems and consolidate them, connect them, again, so we can bring better quality water all across the South and sustainability. So if a hurricane hits Grand Chenier, they still got 2 systems to, all those positive, good things. Now,
It's elevating everything.
it better water quality and sustainability with state money funding those projects. Now, in theory, now Creole area and Grand Chenier area could benefit from the tax dollars off of Venture Global if the public passes the tax adjustment. But that's up to the public.
So this.
And we are not doing that, guys. We've had this conversation last month. This is nothing to do with tax dollars right now.
Not today.
And there will be a board appointed by you to make that decision.
She sounded like I did last month.
Thank you.
I mean, we don't need to get into it again.
So the tax,
Yeah.
that's,
Because we're having a public hearing today, I wanted it on record,
Yeah.
that this is what we're talking about.
yeah, so
Let's
you're,
do with taxes.
Yeah, we don't
Not-
need to go
not
through all
today.
these hypothetical situations.
Not
You will appoint a board and they will make a decision on your behalf.
Okay.
that,
So all it
Moving
takes
on.
to consolidate is approval.
Police
from-
jury.
The district.
Approval from the legislator? No, it just has to be a board approved?
We can consolidate this.
the police jury, decides the
tax
geographical
money.
area of most of your districts.
Thank you.
You
So
can
if you
even-
wanted to have one
Hey.
recreational district parish-wide, you could have one, if this board approved one recreational district as opposed to the 5, 6, 7 you have.
And if you don't want to
For
have
example.
water, then you can abolish all your water districts and people can go dig their own water well. You have that authority to create or abolish any district in the parish. Only the electors can vote to pass a tax.
I wanna make sure that the people that's listening
Yes.
to this meeting said, make sure they hear that
You
come
can-
out of your mouth.
Yeah,
not
you
mine.
cannot tax anybody without their permission.
I also wanna say this, that
I'm
this,
not abolishing no water district.
I'm saying,
this board can't do
That's what you
anything
do.
that couldn't be challenged in a court of law. There's laws that protect people.
All right. Everybody finished with the agendas?
Yeah.
yes.
All right, Katie, you got anything else?
No, sir.
We
All right.
have one add-on, Mr. President, for Cameron Recreation District Number 6, to remove Edie Higgins and appoint Lexi Martin, and remove Jessica Skipper and appoint Jada Cole.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
So the next one. 30 minutes?